In this video, we're going to look at using Statseeker analytics to drive proactive alerts. And by that I mean predicting when an issue is going to occur and triggering an alert to give you early warning. It's a very simple example, but it's still illustrative of the type of alerting possible with Statseeker. This one originated as another example of setting display overrides in graph panels. One of our US engineers suggested displaying file system graphs in a stacked view so you could see the entire storage footprint broken down by a partition. It's a good idea. The problem I had was that the network behind my Statseeker server is a simulated network, so file system data gets recycled, and it's not too representative over time of what you get in the real world. But Statseeker also monitors itself, and my server is collecting and storing the network data so I can look at that data footprint, like I've got here. Total storage, broken down by partition. I've got my data drive storing all the network data, and all of the other partitions are squished into this little bit at the bottom. So I move the data partition off to the right-hand y-axis, thicken the line and remove the fill under it, and we get a much more accessible representation of what's going on the server. Now, I did a short video on how to apply those types of overrides. It's pretty quick and simple. Check it out if you're interested. And then I got a system notification. I haven't acknowledged it, so I can still see it here. Free space on the data partition is low. Statseeker will shut down if it hits 95% used. As you can see, it's a really small data partition. From memory, the VM's drive is only about 80 gig. So how long have I got to get this sorted before I bump into trouble? I built a report to find out. Here's the config: graph, file system, custom time filter. From the date the server came online to 90 days from now. And the interval is set to once a day. I just don't need any finer granularity than that. And an entity filter, just this one file system that I'm interested in. And in the data series, I've got use percent, and I've added forecast data, and then dropped in a threshold at 95% since that's my critical value. And it looks like this. Here's our data and our forecast data, and we can see it intersecting our threshold around the 5th of February. Zoom in to confirm. Yep, so around the 4th of the 5th. Now, I can configure a threshold against that predicted data and use that threshold to trigger an alert. Because it's predicted data, I can set how far into the future I want to assess that threshold, this being how much lead time I want to allow myself. So let's head to the threshold config and I'll show you what I mean. Admin tool, alerting and event management, threshold config. Add a new threshold, name it. Attribute is file system. Use percent. Format is forecast, and value. I want a threshold against forecast data in 1 month. Check it once a day. See if it's above 95%, trigger only on transition, and filter to just that one partition that I'm interested in. And save. So, to review, once a day, get the data partition on the server. Forecast the use percent value 30 days into the future. Now this forecast is based on the previous 6 months worth of data for that partition. Now if our forecast value is over 95%, record an event. So now we configure an alert that hangs off this threshold. Same section of the admin tool, alerting, new alert, pick a template, name it, set the event type to our new threshold. I'm going to send the alert email to the admin user, set the subject and the content. I can use these shortcodes and add any additional content I want, and save. So if I have had this type of threshold alert in place, the admin user would have received an alert informing them that the server's data partition would run out of space in 30 days' time, giving you that much lead to address the issue. Predictive alerting. Think of it as a smoke alarm. Don't wait for the fire.